Hey guys, I'm in a 2014 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport SE. I've been in this car for about a week now. They're due to pick it up sometime this afternoon. And overall, I gotta say, it's kind of a mixed bag of nuts. It's got a whole lot of good stuff. It also has its fair share of bad stuff. But let's start with the good. The good stuff is, from the outside, it's a very approachable SUV. It doesn't have that quirky, compact SUV look that so many automakers are going for. It kind of reminds you of the classic look of the BMW X1 or something like that. I'm not saying it looks like the X1, but the basic shape, the long front end, the nice body lines are all kind of hark back to the X1. Also, up front, you don't get the ugly Tron-inspired grille that the full-size Outlander comes with. The Sport comes with kind of the Mitsubishi Evolution-inspired grille, that wide mouth kind of look. So it's really nice up front. The rising body line down the side gives a nice sense of sportiness, and the 17-inch wheels are really a nice addition. Inside the cabin, the good stuff continues. You get a 710-watt Rockford Fosgate stereo system with a subwoofer in the back for about $1,000. That gives the cabin a real nice sound, a whole lot of bass, and all kind of goodness that I just fell in love with. You also get a rear view camera, dual zone climate control, paddle shifters that are aluminum instead of being that cheap plastic that feels like you're going to break it. So it really feels like a sports car from the paddle shifters. You also get power windows, some chrome trim here and there, and heated seats. All those are really nice. But now we have to head to the bad stuff. The bad stuff, number one, the engine. A 2.0 liter four-cylinder at 148 horsepower and 148 horsepower and 145 pound-feet of torque just isn't enough. Add to that a CVT transmission. Granted, it's a Sportronic transmission, but I don't notice much Sportronic-y stuff with it. It still feels like your typical rubber band CVT. It doesn't feel as lively as it did in the Mitsubishi Lancer that I tested earlier this year. It just doesn't feel that good. Now, when you shift it into manual mode and you use these paddle shifters, you get a little bit more sportiness, but it's nothing all that great. Additionally, the cabin just feels kind of cheap. It's filled with scratchy plastic all over the place. Scratchy everywhere. And also, Mitsubishi, please keep this in mind. It has the fake leather look plastic up on top of the dashboard. Look, guys, if you're going to do plastic on the dashboard, please don't do the fake leather look. It really looks awful. Kind of reminds you of the 1980s and 1990s. That stuff went out so long ago. Just make it flat black plastic and be done with it, or add a little bit of soft touch to it, at least give it some character. Also, the fit and finish continues its woes down here by the gear shifter, where obviously a controller or the all-wheel drive controller of some sort is supposed to be, and Mitsubishi just kind of slapped a little cover over it. Also here, this one has push button start, which I like, but where the key goes in, there's also a big hunk of plastic covering that up. Now, I'm sure if this didn't have the push button start, there'd be a big ugly hunk of plastic covering that button. So really, Mitsubishi, cast two pieces. One piece that has a hole and one piece that doesn't have the hole. It might cost an extra $2, but it's really going to add more. It's going to add some value to the interior because you don't have these ugly covers covering up all the optional things. So keep that in mind when you're making SUVs, Mitsubishi. I know you're probably not listening, but hey, keep that in mind. Other bad stuff is, okay, I love the heated seats. I love that option. It's great when you're in colder weather. I'm in Florida, so I don't have to worry too much about it. But to combine heated seats with cloth upholstery, that just doesn't make any sense. The purpose behind heated seats is leather gets really cold in the low freezing temperatures. The heat helps soften up the leather, warm it up so you don't freeze your butt and jump like a little girl whenever you sit down on the seat. And cloth does not suffer that issue. So why put heated seats on cloth? I guess they said, hey, let's add one more feature. Let's put heated seats. Doesn't cost as much. It'll be a nice little addition onto the sticker. I guess that's their thought process behind it. Honestly, I don't see any purpose for it, but so be it. Another big issue I have is the fuel economy. This thing claims 24 miles per gallon combined. I drive about as combined as it gets. Part highway, part city. I've combined about 22 miles per gallon. Now, granted, I've come up a little bit to about 23 in the past couple of days, but for the most part, I combine right around 20 to 22 miles per gallon. which isn't very good. I only drove it about 5/10 the majority of the time. Yes, I hammered on it a couple times just to see what it could do, but the rest of the time I've been driving about 50%. So it's kind of a bummer to see it's not really getting the gas mileage it's supposed to get, but it's not terrible for an SUV. In terms of handling, it's okay. I guess is the best word for it. It's not great, not terrible, just okay. But for $24,000, you're getting a whole lot of features that Generation X and Generation Y like. The big stereo system, HID lights up front, LED taillights out back, a nice semi-sporty body, and real rims, not big black steel rims with hubcaps slapped on them. So take the good with the bad at $24,000. If you're shopping for an SUV, a compact SUV in that range, it's worth giving the Mitsubishi Outlander Sport a shot. I'm not saying it's going to knock your socks off, but it may actually have the features that you like at a budget you can afford. So take a look at it at least and see if it fits your needs in your budget. So I appreciate you guys watching the review. You can read my full written review after the jump, and I also did a cool little walk around video after the jump to give you an impression of what I thought of the different features inside the cabin and a first-hand experience. Thank you so much, guys, for watching my video. Take care.